Welcome back to House Wolves, the Pet Dog Collective. I'm Melissa, your host, and I'm very pleased to welcome Sharon Mills to the podcast today, all the way from Australia. She is a puppy trainer and canine behavior educator, and we are going to talk everything puppies today. But Sharon, why don't you give us a little introduction about yourself?
Hi, Melissa. It's so good to be here. My background is 34 years German Shepherd breeder. When I was married, I call it my past life, but my ex-husband and we bred shepherds for a very long time, or actually 21 years that we were breeding. I've been in the dog industry for about 34, 35 years. And so we started, my ex-husband was the breeder and I was the trainer. So we had, over the years, bred 100 litters. That's 450 puppies that we placed into homes. Um, it was amazing, tiring and amazing and fantastic. And you learn so much about dogs and the way dogs naturally are. Like, how does the dog, how does the bitch treat the puppies and how does she train the puppies? And if we want to be as good as she is, then we sort of have to get on the same page as the dog and learn the dog's natural way of being if we want to train them to, fit into our lives.
Yes, definitely. It's a hard job breeding and finding placements for those puppies that are the right fit.
And
So,
it's so different now. Like, I don't agree with the way it's being done now, like over the internet. You see people buy, let's just talk about German Shepherds. You and you've got Shepherds, I bred Shepherds. But you see people online these days, Melissa, that they've phoned a breeder or messaged them, got a puppy sent to them. They haven't met the breeder, they haven't met the puppy, they haven't matched their personality to the puppy or the puppy to them,
yes,
and they come home, but the puppy's not suitable.
no,
You know, what I learned when we were breeding is there are people like you and I that are fairly high energy. We want a high energy puppy.
yes,
We're not going to be happy and satisfied with a puppy that's going to sleep under the chair. We're
exactly.
not. We're
No,
active. We want the dog with us. But then you've got people who like to just lay on the couch all weekend and they wouldn't be happy with a dog that's so hyperactive that they've got to get up to the dog every 5, 10 minutes.
yes,
So it's really important to match the personality of the puppy to you.
definitely. And the flip side of that too is if somebody's buying over the internet, how much can they research the breeder? Because I don't know about there, but here, I mean, there's so many people breeding that shouldn't be breeding. And those first 8 weeks are so important. Maybe you want to talk to people a little bit first about those first 8 weeks and all the things that happen that should happen with the breeder.
For sure. When we were breeding, there's an article that you can actually download off my website under the free stuff tab that's called Super Dogs Are Made Not Born. And so this lady, Joyce O'Kelly, she made a readable document out of the studies that scientists have done. Now, I know there's been other studies done since then, but this one is particularly good. And it talks about the 5 critical stages of development in a puppy from birth to 16 weeks. So from birth, you got the stage birth to 3 weeks is one stage. Basically, the bitch just looks after her own pups. You provide a warm kennel, whelping area. She looks after the puppies. That 4th week of life, you hear of people who have got really nervous dogs. Doesn't matter what they do, the dog is shy of loud noises. It's nervous. It can't handle lots of noise and that sort of thing. But mostly the reason for that 4th week of life should be uninterrupted. If the pups are in the back kennel, we had a front kennel and a back kennel. We had a kennel, which we extended and put a door in it, so now we've got a back kennel. But if the puppies are in the back kennel at that 4th week, they have to stay there. If you change their environment in that 4th week of life, you will alter that pup's character irreversibly. You cannot get it back.
I didn't, I just learned something. That's very interesting.
So if you're going to move the puppies from the back kennel or the back bedroom to the front bedroom or the front kennel, it has to be done in that 3rd week or the 5th week. You cannot interrupt that fourth week of life. They can't all of a sudden start hearing the telephone ring. Or, if they're in the house, a lot of breeders will have them in the house, but if they're in the house and all of a sudden you're dropping pots and pans on the floor to get them used to noises and stuff like that, you can't do that in the fourth week. You will irreversibly change their character and you cannot bring them back from it. So that's the fourth week. The breeder is still responsible for this.
Yeah.
The third critical stage of development is the 5th to the 7th week. And I haven't reread it in years, but that's a whole developmental stage there. So now the puppy has an adult brain, according to these scientists, at 7 weeks of age. A fully developed adult brain by 16 weeks.
Wow.
I go as far to say, I'll come back to the fourth week, the fourth critical stage, but I go as far to say that after 16 weeks of age, you are now into re-education. Okay, so they already have an adult brain. So now we've got a puppy. Most people get their puppies at 8 weeks or 9 weeks, but around that age. So now you're in the fourth critical stage. Now we're introducing them to the house, to your house, to the grass outside, to a bit more of a bigger open world. We have to be a little bit careful with that. We don't want to just bombard the pup. It has to have a safe area and stuff like that. And then, so now it's got an adult brain, so we can start training. We can do, when you get a puppy at 8 weeks of age, you can start sit and come on that very first day that you get them.
Yes.
Start.
Yes. Definitely.
It should only take you about 3 days to train the sit. I do it with food. You should only take about 3 days to train the puppy to come. So now you don't have to pick it up anymore because you're teaching it to come. Week 9 you can put the puppy on a lead. At first you can just put it on a slip lead. When it can walk on a lead, you can transfer it over to a choker. I do all of that by 10 weeks of age. And teach my puppy to walk beside my left leg by 10 weeks of age. So then you've got your last critical period, 13 weeks through to 16 weeks. Here is when, by now the puppy is well and truly away from the litter, especially if it's in a pet home. But now we want to start serious training. We've done all the basics, come, sit, shut up. If it's barking a lot, be quiet. Although puppies at that age don't normally bark much. If it's scratching on the door, teach it not to do that. If it's whimpering and barking a lot in its crate or its kennel or wherever you keep the puppy, if you have it in the bathroom or the laundry and it's scratching the door, you can make a loud noise and teach it not to do that.
And it's so much easier to do it then instead of waiting.
Isn't it?
So much easier. You can just, in moments, they learn not to do those things.
Absolutely. It's moments. And especially where you live, it's really cold. We're going into winter now. I got my jacket here around me. But I forget what I was going to say now. If it's, when you're walking in the house, if your dog is allowed in the house, and it's chewing on the bottom of your jammy pants or your pants, work pants or whatever, it's so easy just to bend down and give that puppy a little correction rather than wait until it's actually biting you. In what world is a dog allowed to bite you?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, waiting, the consequences of waiting. It is, especially when people wait till 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, and then that's when I see them. And then it's so much more severe to fix it when it could have been such a slight little moment correction.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit more about the mom with the puppies and how she just naturally communicates with them?
For
and
sure.
It's quick and it's fast. It's not punishing them for a day.
No, that's a human thing. A dog will correct the puppy. That's it. It's all over. If the puppy did it again, it would get another correction. But I love to tell the story when you're breeding, and I've bred 100 litters, 450 live puppies. There's dead ones in there as well, but they're live puppies. So when you've got a litter, you've always got the big ones. You've got the little ones, the middle-sized ones, and the big ones, but the big ones are always hungry. So they suck really hard. So the first correction she'll give that puppy is she'll get her nose and she'll push that puppy away. If that pup is starving, it'll come straight back and suck even harder because it's been interrupted. The second correction she gives that pup, and I have seen so many bitches do it, she'll put her teeth over its head and push it away. Second correction, she's increased the pressure. If that pup doesn't get it, she will get her back foot and kick it from one side of the whelping box to the other and not say sorry. Third correction. Now, puppies are born cold-blooded. You have to keep them in a heated whelping box for the first 3 days. You'd know that.
Yeah.
So dogs don't have complex logic and they have no ability to reason. So if she kicks that puppy outside the warmth, that puppy will get chilled kidneys and die. You can't warm them up once they've chilled down. But a dog doesn't know that.
Yeah.
So she will correct these dogs and do what she has to do to stop the puppy from hurting her. And sometimes it's, that's where humans come in and, you're always in and out of the whelping box to make sure that the pups are close to her, they're all the same weight, they're all getting fed and that sort of thing. So that's how a bitch would do it. When she gets older, she has to stand up to feed the pups. So now the puppies are balancing on their bums and they're knocking each other. So they're scratching her and they're biting her nipples to try and get some milk. And they're pushing each other over and they really hurt her. Really, really hurt her. So she'll turn around and growl if it's not too bad. Or in severe cases, she'll turn around and she'll grab them over the top of the neck and really scruff them. To stop that pup from hurting her. And that puppy will sit back for a minute, take a little bit of notice, and then do it all over again. But for her, she's done the correction, and now it's all over.
Yeah. And then those puppies, when they go into these homes, and all of a sudden, there's no boundaries, there's no corrections, there's nothing.
No. So the biggest thing that I have found with people is they treat the puppy like a baby. And for them, it's brand new to them. For us, the pup's now 8 weeks of age, old enough to go into a new home.
Mm-hmm.
It's got an adult brain. It's ready at that point to start training. For most breeders, or for breeders like I was, the training has already started. They can now follow me out to the outdoor cage, play on the grass. They're starting to come to their name. We're already doing the corrections to stop them from biting us so much. That sort of thing. So at 8 weeks of age, they have an adult brain. They're ready to go to the new owner and be loved and all of that sort of thing, but ready to start their training.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
So what I have found is that people treat them like a baby, even turning the puppy on its back and carrying it like a baby. Forcing the puppy into a really submissive position, unnaturally submissive, and then carrying the pup. So I'll just take that one step further. If you don't start your training and you haven't taught the puppy to come, so now you have to pick it up and cart it from here to there because it won't follow you or won't do what you want because you haven't taught it to do that. So now you've picked the puppy up, but puppies hate being picked up. They hate it. They might get used to it, but they hate it. So what I have seen come from that, now this is where you'll see it, is what I have seen is people will call their dog to them. The dog stops there, not here next to you or in front of you. It stops at arm's length away from you. Why? So if you bend down to do something to it, it's got enough room to bounce away.
Yes.
I'm sure you've seen it.
Yes. Well, and it just reminds me of I just had a client. She's done incredibly well with her lessons, but the very first day I'm just meeting this lady, and she has a 6-month-old little puppy. And we just met and the dog didn't want to come with her, so she picked it up. And I gave her such heck. I said, "Why are you carrying a 6 month old?" And I gave her so much heck the first day, and she's never picked up the dog again. And they've done great. They've done, she just didn't know. People don't know.
They don't know. They don't know the consequence of picking them up or the consequence of not training early enough.
Mhm.
You know, the consequence of picking them up is your dog, in the end, well, it hates it. So it won't come all the way to
Yeah.
you. It won't follow you because you've broken the dog's trust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really, really good point. Like how they don't want to get close because then you're going to scoop them up. So they're
Yep.
avoiding you.
They avoid you. They might do something over there for you,
Hmm.
but they won't come. That bond that people think they have with their dog. I was at a border collie with a border collie. Some people had this border collie. So in a tiny yard, it's like your kelpie. The border collies are working dogs, as
Yes.
much energy as your kelpie. And one of them was a teacher, the other one was a tradesman. And anyway, I was called there, and I've never seen border collies so aggressive. I never knew they were aggressive, but I've seen a lot of aggressive border collies, like charging at other people's fences to attack dogs and that sort of thing. And anyway, I said to this lady that they thought that they had this beautiful bond with the dog, and by the end of it, they did. And I said, does your dog know when you're speaking to it, when you're watching TV and the dog's on the floor, not couch, floor, does your dog know when you say, "Oh, you're a beautiful boy"? Will he just lay there and wag his tail, dump his tail on the floor? Most people, the answer is no. Because that bond that the people think that they've got with their dog has actually been broken because you've picked it up, because you've screamed at the dog, because you've done this, because you've done that. So we need to get back to learning the dog's language
Hmm. Hmm.
so that we're on the same page as the dog so we can actually teach it something.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah. One of the things I find, I don't know if it's the same with puppies, but sort of what you're saying reminds me with older dogs, when people come to me and I say, play with the dog, and people can't even engage with their dog. Like they're just chasing it around, and the dog doesn't even care that they're there. Instead of the dog wanting to come to them.
Because there's no respect.
Hmm.
Because the people haven't been the pack leader. And I know that's got a pretty bad connotation these days
Hmm.
because you've got all these science-based guide trainers that say, well, that's not a real thing. It absolutely is a real thing. And you've got all these positive response trainers go, oh, that's not really real. We don't have to be the pack leader. There's no pack leaders in the pack. Yes, there is.
Yeah.
There's the alpha male, and then there's the bitch that goes with him. There's always a dog and a bitch,
Yeah.
always. And they quietly control the pack. They're not mean and nasty. You and I aren't mean and nasty. We're balanced dog trainers, but we're not mean and nasty. She said our no is no and our yes is yes.
Exactly.
Come means come. It doesn't mean when you're ready or
Exactly.
if you want to. It means come. And you don't have to be mean and nasty to teach that.
Hmm.
We're just
No.
going to teach the puppy to come.
Yes.
So there's a respect level. People say, oh, my dog loves me. It's not really a love language for a dog, it's a respect language. Does the dog respect your position as the pack leader? And if you're the adult in the family, then you should be the pack leader. The dog should be on the floor, not the couch. It should be in its kennel, not your bed. Well, my dog sleeps in my bedroom, but on the floor. Only because of the way my house is set out. And in the summer we have snakes, and I don't want him in his cage on the deck. In the summer, if there's going to be snakes around, he can't get away. So he
Mine at a certain age, like my 8 year old shepherd sleeps with me, but at a certain age, my dogs never start there. Like my young girl slept in her crate at night for 3 years. And eventually, when they get senior, they sleep with me. But I always tell people if you have a behavioral problem, that should never happen. I don't
never
have a
happen.
behavioral problem with my dog, and he's a senior. So when they're senior, I have different
Do you
rules
mean on your bed or just in your room?
on my bed.
On
But
your bed.
yeah, but they're always like 8 and up. They're my old
They
dogs.
ask.
They've earned it.
Yes, and they ask, and they have manners
Yeah,
about
and
it.
I can
So
get
don't
them off. off, and they jump off.
Yes. I saw a photo of a lady a couple of years ago now. She had shepherds. Now this is not breed specific. I'll tell you another one about a golden retriever I saw yesterday. And the dog was on her bed, and she went to get the dog off, and it bit her whole face because the dog thought it was the pack leader and not her. And then yesterday I was online, and you can imagine how many groups you and I both are part of, and you see all these questions come up. This person had a 2-year-old golden retriever. Now, Goldens are known for their placid temperament, easygoing, love everybody. You have to be okay with your golden loving everybody and not just you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where
Yeah.
shepherds are more of a personal dog.
Yes.
You know, my golden loves everybody.
Yes.
And you have to be okay with that. So, but this lady, now her and her husband lived in an apartment, so they had to exercise their dog 3 times a day, according to the write-up that she wrote. So they walk it down the street on lead, take it to an off-lead park, and then the dog is allowed to play. But this day, it's happened a couple of times, but this particular day, she didn't have enough time for that. So she went for a 20-minute walk, like all up, 10 minutes there, 10 minutes back. But on the way back, the dog bit her. Bruised her whole arm,
Wow.
like bites all the way down her arm. Why?
Because it didn't get to go to the dog park?
But why did that upset the dog? Because it thought it was the pack leader. It
Yeah.
thought it made the rules.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
she said, you know, he's easy to get along with. I can imagine what that looked like. It looked like, you
Exactly.
know, that the dog was not as obedient as she thought.
No. The dog was taking them for walks and not the other way around.
Yeah.
I also have seen that with people that don't crate and then have aggressive dogs, and the entire house becomes the dog's crate. And they're just living in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The dog doesn't have its own space.
No, so it kind of claims the whole house. And I've seen people actually terrified of their dog in their own house.
Me too.
Yes.
Terrified of their puppy.
Yes.
12 weeks of age, and the puppy bites them. But puppies bite, you have to teach them not
Yeah.
to.
Yes.
You know, that's how puppies play with each other, is they bite.
Oh, that's what I was going to say too, is what about the, just to backtrack a little, the socialization, the importance of the litter mates, like the interactions between the litter mates is also very important. Do you want to
That's
maybe
where
talk
they
about
learn too, isn't it?
that? Mm-hmm.
You know, eventually you got to separate them if you got puppies left over, but absolutely leaving the puppy with the bitch until they're 8 weeks of age. I mean, she's not in there day and night at that age, you know, but she should be allowed to jump into the kennel, the puppy kennel, a couple of times a day. It's the bitch that teaches the puppies dog language. And for the people who like to get their puppies at 5 weeks and 6 weeks, uh-uh.
Good.
You're
Because a
going to
lot
have
of important life lessons they don't get.
they don't get. And we as humans can't teach it.
You know what that's about is the person just doesn't want to feed the puppies anymore and they don't want the work because it becomes a lot of work between 5 and 8 weeks.
Sure does.
Yeah.
It really does. Feeding them costs a small fortune when
Yes.
you run them on like that. But you should. The bitch, it's her job. She teaches them dog language. Then when we take over, all we've got to do is follow up,
Mm-hmm.
is keep doing the same thing. If the bitch hasn't had enough time to correct her puppies, then when we correct the puppies, the pup doesn't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we're using the same corrections as a mother does, then the puppy won't understand it. But the puppy doesn't understand smacking. It doesn't understand screaming. The pup doesn't understand stuff like that. It's not dog language. You know, a lot of things that I see in the home too is, you know, the puppy wants to play, so it'll go yip yip, and the person will say shut up, and the puppy thinks, yay, you want to play. No, I don't. Shut up. You know, but that language, this yip yip. You know, if you watch two dogs, one will go yip yip, and the other one will go woof. and they're off, and they're playing, but when we say, shut up, the puppy we misread the puppy, but the puppy misreads us, and it does it again
Mhm.
because, oh, you want to play,
Mhm.
and so there's a lot of, it's amazing and fascinating, when you actually study the dog and sit down and just watch what they do. You can just learn so much.
When you were placing dogs, because you placed a lot of puppies, what are some of the calls you can get where people would just be struggling? Like, I'm sure you had people where they were struggling. What were some of the issues and things that would come up? What were some common ones, or any stories that you
Whining at night. So
can?
the younger you get the puppy, the more they cry.
Mhm.
So the 8-week-old puppies will cry way more than the 10-week-old puppies. So what should they do with the puppy when you take it home? For some people, they're determined the dog's going to go into a crate, um, either in the bedroom or in the ensuite or in the lounge room, whatever. The puppy will cry, so we need to correct the puppy for that. Um, if it's in a crate, that's easy. You can just throw a ball at the crate. If it's in the bathroom or the ensuite, you can just get your hands and slap the door as hard as you can, so your hands are red, and you can just say, "Be quiet," or "Enough." The shorter, the sharper the word is, the easier the dog understands it. The dog does not need the conversation. It doesn't need, I know you're missing your family, I know. It'll be okay, you'll get used to us. It doesn't need that, it just needs the instruction. Enough. The puppy will be quiet. Stay there, because in another 10 seconds, the puppy will start again. So you could slap your hands on the door again. Enough. Usually twice, and the puppy will be quiet. Um, you know, so whining at night is a big one. Pinching things, socks, undies, stuff
Mhm.
like that. The longer I've been in dogs, the more I realise that that is a dog game. Like children will play chasey,
Keep
but what,
away, like keep away,
I
basically.
don't know what that is.
Oh, like because the dog wants to be chased, so it will grab something and then come get me.
Yes,
Yeah,
because that's a dog game. So
yeah,
if a dog's got the stick, if
yeah,
you've got two
exactly.
dogs,
Yes,
the dog will have the stick, and it's the other dog's job to get it.
yes,
So it will turn its head and turn its head and turn its head and run around, and the other dog's job is to get it. So in the home, what that looks like is the dog will go, and it's always socks and undies. I don't know why. Maybe because it's got our strong smell on it.
yes, yeah, probably.
And so the dog takes it. And then you want it, but you don't know that the dog actually wants you to play. So you start chasing it, and the puppy's off. It's tearing around. It's exactly what it wants, and you'll never catch it.
No.
But on the times that you do catch it, you grab the pup by the scruff of the neck, you reef its mouth open, you pull the thing out, and now you've just broken your puppy. You have just broken its trust, because that is not the game. The game is, if you catch it, then you're meant to have a tug of war. One of them will let go. So how do we deal with that? We don't want to do that every single day. What I do with that is what I teach people is, what have you got? Show me. What have you got? Oh, it's a sock. So if you've already at the stage where you've damaged the trust of your dog and you can't get anywhere near your dog now, what I like to do is just walk slowly, a little bit hunched over, and get as close as I can before the dog takes off. I get on my hands and knees and I creep forward. What have you got? Oh, give me a look. If I can get close enough to the dog and I want to pat the dog, I am not going to grab the dog. I'm going to pat the dog. I'm going to put one of my thumbs or a little finger under the collar, and with the other one, I'm still patting the dog. Good boy, good girl. Okay, give me a look. Now I can put my hand on the scruff of the dog, so if the dog has got something, I can just put my hand on its scruff and squeeze. The dog will release the pressure on its jaw, And now I can teach the puppy to give, and I can take it out. So I'm not reefing its mouth open. I'm just going to ask it, give. It's going to release the pressure. Now I can take it. Oh, you're a good boy. Now that I haven't destroyed the trust that the dog has in me.
Hmm. And it hasn't been rewarded by having the person chase it around the house, which is really rewarding it because
That's
that's what
their
they want.
game. It's the game that dogs play.
Hmm.
They
Exactly.
love that game.
Exactly.
So then you can teach the dog later, if you see the dog go into your bedroom, you can sort of say, ah, 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 out of there.
Yeah.
But if you've missed it and the dog actually has something it's not allowed to have, then that's how I would approach that
Mm-hmm.
and
What are,
start building trust again.
yeah. What are some, and people kind of have a misconception of they think putting boundaries in place or correcting the dog will break the trust, but it's really the opposite of that.
Opposite. Yeah. Um, Dogs love boundaries,
Hmm.
and the dog will work inside the boundary if it knows what the boundary is.
Hmm.
If it knows it's not allowed on the couch and it's never been allowed on the couch, it will never try and get up on the couch or the bed. The reason I'm fairly big on that, and I've got another breeder who recommends my training to her puppy people. Her dogs sleep on her bed, but she is ultimate pack leader. She's not allowing them on the bed, but has no control over the dog. All of her dogs, if she says off the bed, they all scramble and get off the bed. So she is ultimate pack leader. If you have that level of control over your dog and you want them on your bed, I don't want dogs on my bed. I don't want it. I don't want hair in my bed. I've got a golden retriever. I used to have German shepherds. There is no way I'm sleeping with their hair.
Yeah.
No way. And I love animals. I probably love animals as much as the most person who loves animals,
Yeah.
but I don't want to sleep with them. Um, when there's a guy over here, he used to answer, you could pay him, and he's got the qualifications to do it, and he would answer your questions. So I like put a question in. What are the things that create a dominant dog? He said, well, that's a good question. So, what do we do as humans that creates a dominant dog? The guy's name is Grant. And I thought, wow, okay. So one of the big ones that he talked about is when there's the pack leaders in place, if you allow your dog in a high place on the couch, on the bed, on the outdoor furniture with the pack leaders, the dog automatically thinks it's in a leadership position. It's automatic. You don't have to say anything or do anything. You don't have to elevate the dog above the others in our human way of doing it. The dog automatically thinks it's now in a leadership position. But then we say to the dog, oh, be a dog and your place is there and mine's here. So we do things. One minute we're saying you're a leader, the next minute we're saying you're a dog. So the dog lives in constant confusion
Yeah.
about its place in the pack.
Yeah.
So I like to say to people, you see all of these questions online, do you allow your dog on the couch? And 90% of people say, of course. I say, of course not. Why would I create that problem for myself where
Yeah.
my dog doesn't know the boundaries between me being the head of the pack and him taking his place
Yeah.
underneath the head of the pack?
Yeah. There's, yeah. I see a lot of confusion with like people giving their dogs conflicting messages. And I used to preach about the higher ground thing a lot, like on the
Okay.
couch, on the bed, because as soon as they have, like a lot of the aggressive dogs I see, they're on the higher ground because they're
They
up on the
are.
bed, they're up high. Oh, I'm big and tough up here. Put them down on the floor, they're not so big and tough.
And it's not just the
No,
German Shepherds and the Rotties and the
no,
Staffies.
the little dogs. Sometimes the
It's
little
the
ones are the worst.
Chihuahuas and the Dash Hounds,
Frenchies, things like they're running
Frenchies.
up and down the back of the couch. Plus, multi-dog families, like multi-dog households. A lot of people will think that, dog A is starting the fight. And then I go in the house and you see the little 10-pounder up on the couch, and that's the dog that's starting the fight.
Yep, because
So
it thinks it's the pack
multi-dogs,
leader.
exactly. So multi-dog households, when they're up on the couch, up on the bed, that can create big conflicts between the dogs if you're not in charge.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Have you seen the conflict in the dogs when the submissive dog has to obey what this dog is saying, but the humans haven't got ultimate control over the pack. So now the human's saying something, but this dog thinks it has to obey that dog, which is in conflict with what the human wants, you know. So this poor little dog here, no matter what the size of the dog, really is stuck between a human and this pack leader over here. When the human doesn't have control of the pack, whether it's one dog or five dogs, it's just chaotic.
Yeah,
Uh,
very.
and the one that's got the softest personality is the one that cops it the most because it's trying to obey you and trying to obey this other dog. You see that all the time.
Hmm.
Excuse
Yeah,
me.
definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
What are some other things that you would see with dogs adopted out? Like, what other kind of help would people be looking for with when you were breeding? Like, what kind of stumbling blocks would people run into, or just in your training?
Just not train early enough, not understanding how the dog learns. Um, you know, dogs, I've stopped saying to people that they are a dog. I've started saying they're a canine.
Hmm.
Because so
Mhm.
many people will say they're my baby, and I'll say, no, it's not, it's a dog. No, it's my baby. No, it's not. It's a dog. So there was a lady where I work actually, and she's got a Great Dane, and she's still calling her 2-year-old dog a baby. And the dog still has some behaviours that she's excusing because she's calling it her puppy and her baby. And I said, your dog's 2 years old. It
And
had an
big,
adult brain at 16 weeks. It knows exactly what it's doing to you. Be careful, you will get bitten one day. But it's my baby. I said, it's not. It's a dog. No, it's my baby. This is a true story.
yeah,
And I said, it's a canine. It has vastly different needs to you and I. It's a canine. And it learns completely differently. And when you step up and you learn that language, and the dog has respect for you, not love for you, love is a human language. We say we love. The dog has respect or no respect for your position as the pack leader. And I know that's hard for some people to hear, but it's the truth, isn't it?
yes.
You
And
know,
then,
it's
well, things can just go so wrong, not just with aggression, but something that happens we see a lot of here is the separation anxiety or just anxiety. Like people give their dogs anxiety,
but
and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
usually from the lack of boundaries.
I
Like they've got
say,
an anxious dog, and then they give them no boundaries, treat them like a baby, and then the dog gets anxiety. And I see that a lot.
so
A lot.
much here too.
Yeah.
When people say, oh, I need to medicate my dog because it's got anxiety, I said, you're going to what? You're
Mhm.
going to medicate your dog? Holy cow, I wouldn't medicate my child. Never
Yeah.
mind a dog. And anyway, so you ask them, you get into the story. Well, when it was a puppy, I couldn't lock it up because it would howl so much. Okay, so what did you do? Well, I let it out because it didn't like the cage. Okay, so the dog doesn't have anxiety, it just has bad behaviour. No, 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 that's not it. Okay, so what happened the next day? Well, I tried again, but it howled so much I couldn't stand it. So I'm going to put in here, I didn't know how to train the dog to stop howling or to stop whining or stop barking. So to combat my lack of knowledge in this area, I just let it out because I couldn't stand it. So now every time you lock the dog up, whether it's a crate or a kennel or the house, even the house, the laundry, um, and the dog's howling, barking, so you let it out. So now we end up with a dog that the owner says is anxiety. The vet wants to medicate it, but all it is bad behaviour. Simply bad behaviour. You got no control over the dog. And what I usually say to people, and it's your fault. And I'm not accusing people because they didn't know.
Mm,
They didn't know
yeah,
how to do it. So
yeah,
this was the best answer they could come up with because it hurt their heart. Hurt their heart to hear the little puppy howling and screaming. So humans naturally want to go and comfort that little puppy. But that little puppy, by the time you get it, has an adult brain. Well and truly old enough to teach it to stop howling. If we did that the first week when I got Bentley, he came, I don't know if you know Australia very well at all, but I live in Queensland. Bentley was the state of Queensland. Bentley was born in New South Wales, the state underneath Queensland. But I live halfway up. It's a fairly big state, and I live inland in the west. So Amanda lives in Dubbo in New South Wales, so she's further in the west than I am. Bentley had to go from the breeder's place on transport to Sydney to the airport. He left Sydney and went to Brisbane on an aeroplane, left Brisbane and came up here to Emerald on an aeroplane. He had been travelling for a good 24 hours when I got him on a plane. I live not far from the airport, so the trip home was only 5 minutes, and then I could let him out of the crate that he was in for all of this time. And he had comfort stops and everything. The transport people that Amanda uses lets them out, changes their bedding in the crate and that sort of thing. But anyway, I've got horses too. So Bentley arrived, he had a play, he was disorientated, as you can imagine. Didn't know me from a bar of soap, away from Amanda, away from all the other puppies, and completely foreign place. Anyway, we played with him. I fed him because I knew he hadn't been fed since the night before. He ate a little bit and all of that sort of normal stuff. And I had already set up his cage. I've got a big steel cage. You can walk into it. I don't duck it. It's got no lid on it. It comes up to here on me. It's 2.4 meters by 2.4. I don't know what that is in feet. Your feet.
okay.
It's 3 feet, 6 feet, almost 9 foot by 9 foot. So it's a big cage.
Yeah, that's big.
And it sits on my timber deck outside. But it was time to feed the horses. My daughter was here, my grandkids were here. They played with Bentley, although he wasn't interested. He was completely disorientated. But I had to go and feed the horses, and I did not want to take the puppy. So I put him in the cage. First thing he did, first thing I did, correct the puppy. Been here less than an hour. I've got to correct the puppy. Do you know that puppy has never yelled since in his cage? I did it on day one, just got off the aeroplane. I wasn't harsh. I didn't actually correct him. I corrected the cage.
Mm-hmm.
I never physically touched him. And he stopped yelling. I only had to do the correction twice. And he has never made a noise in his cage ever since.
Exactly.
Day one.
Exactly.
And I didn't even touch the dog.
Exactly. That's the thing. The sooner people can get on it, the more they can educate themselves. And as soon as things aren't going right, just get on it. But medication cannot replace training.
No.
It can't.
It can't.
So it's like, like you say, some people just genuinely don't know. I understand that. I was that person one day long ago. And then as soon as you realize it's not working, you just need to get on it. And the sooner you get on it, the better it's going to be,
The other thing that I see these days, not so much when I was breeding, because the internet wasn't around back when I was breeding. We didn't even have mobile phones back then. Shows my age, doesn't it? But I think it was kind of better in some ways.
Yes,
people getting online. People getting online, oh, my puppy's biting me. And then you've got 1,000 do-gooders to say, oh, it'll stop by the time he's a year old. You're thinking, a year? You put up with puppy biting for a year? You know, if you bought my Stop Puppy Biting ebook,
Yeah.
it would stop in one day
Yeah.
with no hitting, no yelling. You could stop puppy biting today if you
Exactly.
really wanted to. But people get online, they ask all the other people who put up with it for a year, and everybody go, oh, he's just a puppy.
Yeah.
He's just a puppy. He'll grow out of it. Why
Yeah.
would you wait when it's as easy as doing a correction to stop him? No hitting, no yelling. We just correct the puppy.
Yeah.
In 3 days maximum, that puppy will no longer bite you or anybody else.
Hmm. Why don't you tell us a little more about your ebooks and online program you have for puppies?
The one I have for baby puppies, like when you first get them up until 16 weeks, well, that's 4 months, 4 or 5 months, is my program called Train Your Puppy in Just 3 Days. So that came about when I was a breeder. People used to say, do you train other people how to train dogs? But nah, no, it's only for our puppy clients. And so many people asked me that I eventually decided, well, I could make a DVD. I had all the equipment. I could do a DVD. And I thought, well, I'll do come sit drop or come sit walk on a lead. And I thought, well, I can't do that because then they're only doing what I do parrot fashion. They don't know why they're doing it or why it works, how it works. I'm a big believer in knowing why. Why
Yes.
am I doing this and why does it work?
Hmm.
So I thought, well, I can't do that. I'm going to have to teach people how a puppy learns. So this, what was going to be just a come sit drop type training, turned into equipment, the psychology of the dog, understanding the canine mind, how it works, how to train it.
Hmm.
Um, and then all the training, come, sit, drop, walking on a lead, shut up. Um, you can use the word shut up if your dog's barking, you can use quiet, you can use enough, but I go right into what words to use. The puppy doesn't need, oh, please be quiet, I've had enough. It just needs quiet,
Yeah.
enough, and if it doesn't, there's corrections to apply if it doesn't. When I say correction, we're talking about dog language, and we're talking about a correction that backs up what our verbal correction means. So a
Hmm.
physical correction will back up, not hitting, but a physical correction will back up what our verbal correction means. And in the end, all we need to say is enough.
Yes,
We'll
exactly.
do
Because
that. So,
that's,
the training, sorry?
sorry, no, go ahead, go ahead.
So on the training, my ex-husband um, he loved the genetics of the dogs. He loved working out which bitch to put to which dog.
Hmm.
I love the training. And so he decided that on this particular litter, we did this litter. We were very excited about it and we're going to keep a dog and a bitch. And we did. So he decided that they're the two that we're keeping. So they're the two that I chose to do this training with. So I trained two untrained puppies and we trained them and I leave all the mistakes in there. I don't I don't edit any of my actual training. Sometimes if you and I are talking like this and if I was talking on it, I thought, oh, I didn't mean to say that. I would edit that out. But when it comes to training the puppies, there's no editing. Every mistake my puppies made on the training is in there.
Excellent. I like that.
Every mistake. Excuse me. I have been really sick lately. This flu thing is going around. Um, And so I show you how to fix it. I include as many examples as I can. So I don't believe in putting out a product where the dog is already trained and now my dog does it perfectly. These are untrained puppies.
Hmm.
These are puppies that are learning. They were 9 weeks old when I started, and it's because we had a whole week of rain and I couldn't go outside. And over here, we don't have much rain, so we don't work in the rain. We don't do anything in the rain, because I don't even have a raincoat because we don't have a lot of rain, so we don't do anything in the rain. Uh,
It's the opposite here.
you learn about your own weather conditions, you just work with what you've got.
pretty
And
much.
anyway, so I didn't train the puppies because it was raining. And so we started at 9 weeks of age. And, it's come in the first week, sit in the first week. Second week, lead training. I don't do it in weeks like that, but that's how it sort of pans out. That's how I've done it in order on the menu. Lead training. If your puppy doesn't like the lead, I don't use a harness. I'm not a harness. I don't believe in harnesses. From talking to you earlier, I know you don't either. And what
Well,
I
not for obedience, not
not for
for,
obedience.
I mean, they're made for
For,
specific things, for pulling.
yes,
So there's
for
sport,
set dogs.
yeah.
For
So for
pulling.
tracking or protection or something where they're, or it's control,
Yes.
or in
In
the,
the sled.
exactly. So I have harnesses for particular sports or for the car to clip in your dog, um,
Yes.
not for obedience. It does not work.
So what I say to people these days, if you're trying to train your puppy or your dog even to walk on a lead and it's towing you down the street, there is no correction in a harness. You can't pull back on the harness hard enough to make it a correction. So for a lot of people, they've already damaged their shoulder because their dogs over the years have pulled so hard that they've damaged their shoulder and their elbows. Now, can you imagine what that's done to your dog? Can
Mm,
you imagine if
mm.
it's hurt you that much? How much has that harness hurt your dog's skeleton?
I feel the same way about the face halties that are supposed to be like force free. My dogs go to the chiropractor, so I definitely believe that kind of pressure cannot be good.
So, and also, what's the other one? The halter, the
Well, there's a
harness, the
front
collar.
clip harness.
Oh no, no, no!
Yeah, that's
They cost a small
twisted
fortune.
shoulder.
They clip it onto the front of the dog. Like that's going to do what?
Hmm.
Like what? They cost $80 or more over here in Australia. Like they cost a
Really?
small fortune. And what does it do?
Yeah.
Nothing.
No.
The dog still pulls.
Yeah. It
Um,
just feels like this.
yeah. So going back to going back to the train your puppy in just 3 days. So I cover all of that and I teach you why. How to teach your puppy to drop. Crouch down in
Yeah.
a drop position. If you do
Mm-hmm.
it as a puppy, I mean, it's fun to do.
Mm.
Like, do most people need drop? No, they don't. But if you're going to walk your dog down the street, you can walk, 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 sit, walk, 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 drop. You can walk, 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 drop, stay, walk away from your dog, do the
Yeah.
ritual,
Yeah.
finish, heel. Now, there's a couple of different ways to do that, but you can do all of that by 16 weeks. All of that by 16 weeks. And that's what I show people on the train your puppy in just 3 days.
Excellent.
Uh, it's amazing.
I
It's
love it. Sounds great.
yeah, and no editing.
And we'll include some links with the podcast, but where can people find it? Do you want to?
www.successpuppytraining.com. Not
Okay,
not AU.
we'll
I
include
didn't
that.
include the AU.
Okay, we'll include that in the podcast links. But
And
just
I
so,
thought for your people too, if any of your viewers have a puppy and they're ready to get started,
Mhm.
I'd like to offer them a $30 discount.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. So the code for that is SPT Puppy.
Okay,
So for
wonderful.
Success Puppy Training, puppy, so it's SPT Puppy. And if they put that into the coupon thing at the checkout, they'll
Okay,
get a $30 discount. So it's in Australian dollars, but by the time you convert it to American or whatever it is, it'll work out to about $67 American.
okay.
So I'm not sure if that's the same as
So
Canadian.
120 Canadian. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We have a bad dollar here, but no, that's still a good price.
Right.
No, that's
So,
great. Thank you for the discount code. So we'll include that as well in the podcast so people can see that because I
okay.
think this could benefit. People struggle so much with puppies. I think people really, really struggle. I think people get very excited about getting a puppy and they actually don't understand the work because it is work. I mean, even if you
Huge.
do it the right way, it's a huge amount of work and commitment. And people get very defeated and they really, really struggle. So I think this program can really help people get off to a good, positive start.
Even on the DVD, I've got a health section. It used to be a DVD. I'm sorry, it's an online training now. But even giving your dogs tablets, I show people how to give your dogs or your puppies tablets. So I'm a firm believer in daily heartworm. Over here, I don't know if you
Mm.
have the heart
We
disease
don't
heartworm.
hear. No, we don't hear. In the US, yes, but not in Canada.
It's probably too cold there. But the
Probably.
heartworm is carried by the mosquito. And if the mosquito bites a dog that's got heartworm, it will transfer it to another dog. So our dogs have to be on heartworm prevention from 12 weeks of age. But I'm a firm believer in daily heartworm tablets, and the reason for that, you can get monthly chewable things or you can get a yearly injection. But the reason I like daily tablets is because I have to handle my dog every day. So I have to, when they get bigger, it's all on the training. When they get bigger, I stand over their back so their head comes up the front. I open their mouth. I show people, I teach people how do you open their mouth? You know, how do you put the tablet in far enough so that the dog will swallow it and just not spit it out?
Yeah,
So all of that is on there, such basic but important life lessons
so important. It makes it
that
so
used to be
much
handed.
easier down the road. It makes it so much easier down the road when they have to go to the vet or have to go to a groomer or have to, go to
Yeah,
a boarding facility because you're going away or somebody's babysitting your dog. So many things.
so many things.
So many.
And even if you don't have to give them tablets, I say on the training, just pretend.
Hmm. Yeah,
Just
yeah,
open up their mouth, put your finger down, and pretend when the dog has swallowed even the air, it'll go. So when they've swallowed the tablet because they poke their tongue out every single time. So just little things just to make life with your puppy easier.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, is there anything else you'd like to add? We'll sort of get wrapping up here because I don't want to take up too much more of your time. Is there anything
That's
else you just want to add for people?
well,
Anything really important you want to touch on?
if people are interested in the early stages of a pup's development,
Mhm.
um, this is what we used to do. Super dogs are made, not born. But
Mhm.
I've had it transcribed into an ebook. I did not write it, but I do put it out. And it's in the free stuff tab on my website. So if they go to successpuppytraining.com and go to free stuff, you'll
Mhm.
see the super dogs are made, not born. And that you can read for yourself the critical stages of development. The do's, what it is a list of do's and do nots. Do this and the reason why. Do not do this and the reasons why.
Oh,
Um,
excellent.
I'm not a fan of the training that's on there, like some of the training I just wouldn't do. But for the basic critical stages of development, so they can understand where their puppy is up to, and then it's got additional comments at this age, like for that last stage. Do not wait until after 16 weeks of age to train. And I'll put in there, because now we're already into re education, the dog has a fully developed adult brain. Start between when you get it and here, and we're teaching the puppy to learn to learn.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's what the training in this area is. Later on, the puppy will still come in a wiggly line, it will still do puppy stuff.
Yeah.
We can teach it right from wrong in those early days. Come means come. A puppy will come and wobbly, but as long as it comes. If you say come, it has to come. If you say sit, it has to sit. You
Hmm.
know.
Well, and I find most dogs, if you do a lot of training, I find they retain it so well. So even if whatever life happens, you take your foot off the gas a bit, if they have that foundation and
Yes.
you have a stumbling block, it's way easier to fix and to get back to the training than if
Yeah,
they haven't done any of it.
absolutely. Because you would know that, at that 4 month age, they have another developmental stage at 7 months. I
Mhm.
bet you get a lot of calls from people,
A
their
lot.
puppies are 7 months old. Yeah,
Yes.
7 months, 8 months. And I said to Bentley the other day, he's just laying there, I said, Bentley, you're going to be lucky, mate, if you make it to 9 months. That age group is so hard to handle. But
Very. Because they start pushing back and kind of like, do I have
yeah,
to? do it. I don't know. Who are
Yeah, I
you?
don't have to do that anymore. Yeah, no, yes
Yeah.
you do, mate. You
But
know,
if
but
you've done the foundation, it's way easier than if you're just starting. Like, oh, this is
absolutely.
brand new. You're 8 months old and this is brand new, this concept, versus we did this before, remember? And they
Yeah,
do remember. So it comes
they
back.
do. I said that to Cassie just yesterday. I said, we all we had to do was say, remember, this is what I mean. Come means come here.
Exactly.
Do
Exactly.
you remember? And I said, oh yeah, that's right. Instead of just, oh, when I'm ready, hang on a minute, I've got to do something. Hang on, I'm just eating a bug in the grass. No, mate, now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So, no, the foundation is so important. And like I said, puppies are hard. I've
they
done a
are.
few, but it can be very rewarding if people have the right guidance and the right training. It can be incredible, and you end up with an incredible dog for life.
Yeah, you absolutely do. You know, they are called man's best friend because they're so loyal to us. Even
Yes.
when we make all the mistakes in the world and sometimes treat them badly, they're so
Mhm.
loyal to us.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I want to thank you so much. It's been so much fun talking to you.
We'll
Um,
have to do it again.
Yes, I know. There's so much to talk about
So
that,
much.
yeah, I'd love to have you back for another topic and we'll go again. But thank
Fantastic.
you, Sharon. It's great to
And
talk to you. And yeah, I hope the listeners all learned a lot today.
me too. Me too. And thanks for having me. It's been fantastic.
Super. Thank you.